Hello animal lovers! So today's video will be featuring my northern blue-tongued skink Ryuko, and I will be showing how I prepare his food and what I do to prep his wet dog food for the future. I will show today's feeding as well as future ones that are different. And the food I show in this video won't be the only kind of food I ever feed him. I do like to give him different fruits and vegetables and greens when I can. And I will leave links in the description for foods that are safe and unsafe for blue-tongued skinks to eat. So let's get started. So there are three main foods that I feed Ryuko on a rotation through the months. So one of them is the Rapashi Bluey Buffet powder that has tons of good ingredients in it, including calcium. So all I usually add is some greens and a snail. I'll show later how I make it. But then the other two foods are his wet dog food, one of them being a very tasty bird and veg and fruit recipe, and the other being just different game bird ingredients. They are both high-quality dog food, grain-free, with no preservatives. Again, later I will show how I prepare the different foods and what I add to them. So today I will be feeding Ryuko dog food. I'm all out of prepackaged dog food bags, so I'm going to open 2 new cans and package several meals. With a spoon, I put into each bag the amount that I think Ryuko will eat. After the bags are sealed, I take them to the sink to rinse off the mess of dog food, and then I put the bags in one bag and place it in the freezer. Now for the next dog food, I will be using more bags for this one because I will be putting a little less of the dog food in per bag, since I like to add a lot of vegetables and greens and fruits and snails to this dog food, since its ingredients are just bird meat. Okay, so future meal prep is done, and I left a little bit of dog food in each can to give to Ryuko today. Now I will add a little apple and blueberry, some snail, some butternut squash, and then of course some calcium. Once a month I will put this Reptivite on his food instead of this calcium. Now I don't provide my skink with UVB, so I got calcium that has D3 in it so that he can actually absorb the calcium, which UVB lighting would do if I had it. Okay, here is your meal today, Ryuko. I feed Ryuko once a week unless he isn't hungry. If he's not hungry, I stick the food in the freezer and try again the next day or next few days. Now this is a different day, and I will show you how I usually prepare his meals with these prepackaged dog foods. Today I will give him the game bird recipe dog food. So first I put the bag under hot water, and now the dog food comes out of the bag easily. To the dog food I will add some squash, a little fruit, a few snails, and also some greens. But first I will heat up this frozen food in the microwave. Now I will add the greens. It's good to put more greens in a skink's diet if they are to be without UVB. Again, I only give him Reptivite once a month into whichever dog food meal. Today I will put Reptivite in his dog food instead of calcium. It still has calcium and D3, but it also has good essential vitamins that he doesn't need with every single meal, but once every few meals, yes. I make sure it's all mixed really well because skinks can be picky with greens as well as the calcium and Reptivite powders. I do give him treats in between meal days, like snails or egg or fresh fruit, and I do still add a little calcium to the treats. I usually only offer him some snails instead of a meal if I see that he is shedding, since shedding can make lizards lose their appetite. But if he is like super interested in the snail and looking for more, then I do give him some dog food. During the winter, Ryuko goes into brumation, at least he did last winter, and that was his first time, and he wasn't hungry at all during the winter and wouldn't eat till spring. But not every skink is the same when brumating. Some will still eat during the winter, so it's good to still offer food and of course keep fresh water available at all times. So this is yet another day, and today I will be giving Ryuko the Rapashi Bluey Buffet powder. Now I have this scoop and I put about half of the powder in it and dump that in his bowl. I then boil some water, and with the scoop I measure double the amount of water to the amount of powder. I then mix that up right away and let it sit for a couple minutes until it turns into a gel. I then cut that into chunks and add some greens and a snail to give Ryuko some different texture. Again, this powder has everything a skink needs for a perfect meal, including calcium with D3, so I don't need to add calcium. Now on this new day, I will give Ryuko the other dog food, which has more ingredients than just meat, so I will add less of some of the things. So I will add some green bell pepper this time as the vegetable. I will skip fruit this time, and I'll add one snail, and then calcium. It's good to give blue-tongued skinks something they have to chew, or something pretty solid like apple or green bell pepper, or a snail. They have to really chew before swallowing. And the reason it's good to give them harder foods rather than soft foods all the time is because if they're always eating soft food, then they can get gum problems like mouth rot. So that's why it's good to give them vitamins and to give them a varied diet of different textures as well. Okay, so that is how I feed my lizard and how I prepare his dog food. If this video was helpful, remember to give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Bye.